Welcome to yet another edition of the Midnight Blitz Scoreboard Show. It's Saturday, November 4th, 2017. I'm your host, Walter Johnson. And remember to follow the Southwest Georgia Network on Twitter at SWGA Network. And also listen live on the YouTube stream, the YouTube channel. And just you can access that link at SWGA Network on the Twitter page. As a matter of fact, and I'm on live right now. Twitter. And so time is now 12:11 a.m. Eastern Daylight Time on this Saturday, November 4th, 2017. Hard to believe the regular season in Georgia high school football has come to an end. There's a lot of games here in our area with a region championship and playoff implications. So lots of action to go around, lots of action to talk about, and things to sort out as far as the playoff picture is concerned. Not going to waste too much time, and going ahead and get started right now. And more on the Lee County's win over Coffee momentarily. But I'm going to start in Class 7A, Region 1 7A, and the Tift County Blue Devils clinched the number 2 seed in for the playoffs out of GHSA Region 1 7A after they defeated the Camden County Wildcats off the Georgia coast in Kingsland, Georgia. Final score 21-10. Tift County over Camden County. So Tift County defeats Camden County 21-10, and it was the only game in the 4-team Region 1 7A. And Tift County, with the win, finishes the regular season at 9-1 overall and 2-1 in GHSA Region 1 7A. And the Blue Devils will be the number 2 seed and will host Noonan in the first round of the state playoffs next week. And last week, the Lowndes Vikings completed an undefeated regular season with a dramatic 51-45 win in double overtime over the Colquitt County Packers. And both Lowndes and Colquitt were off this week. And 51-45, Lowndes defeating Colquitt County in double overtime just over a week ago. So that means Lowndes will be the number 1 seed, and Tift County will be the number 2 seed, and Colquitt County will be the 3 seed. And Lowndes finished the regular season undefeated at 3-0 in region play, as well as undefeated overall at 10-0. And Lowndes, like I said, will be the number 1 seed, and Tift County will be the number 2 seed at 2-1, finishing 2-1 in the region, 9-1 overall. And Colquitt County will be the 3 seed at 1-2 in Region 1 7A, 7-3 overall. So this is how the playoffs set up for the Region 1 7A teams. And Lowndes will host Campbell in the first round, and Campbell out of Smyrna, Georgia, and Cobb County will make the long trip down I-75 to face Lowndes. And Tift County will play host to Noonan in the first round next week. And the Colquitt County Packers will hit the road to face Pebblebrook. So Cook County will travel to play Pebblebrook in the first round next week. And moving on to Region 1 6A, and the Lee County Trojans played host to Coffee in the battle for the Region 1 6A state champion. Made that the Region 1 6A championship. And it was Lee County pulling away late with a pick six to win 23-7. And the Trojans from Leesburg also got 3 field goals to go with their 2 touchdowns and 2 extra points. And Lee County defeats Coffee 23-7. So and Lee County bouncing back in a big way from their upset loss to Valdosta in Valdosta just over 2 weeks ago. That was back on October 20th. And it didn't seem like that long ago. Lee County lost down there in Valdosta. Not only cost Lee County an undefeated season, but also cost them in one of their top 2, both of their top 2 state rankings. And Lee County was ranked number 1 in the state in Class 6A, according to the Georgia Sports Writers Association, and number 2 in the Georgia High School Football Daily Newsletter poll. But in any case, in Lee County is the GHSA Region 1-6A champion with a 23-7 win over Coffee. And the game was played at Trojan Field in Leesburg on a Friday night. And so Lee County finishes the regular season at 9-1 overall, and they're 3-1 in GHSA Region 1-6A. And Coffee fell to 6-3 overall, and also fell to 3-1 in GHSA Region 1-6A, and that's the record the Coffee will finish with in region play, 3-1. However, Lee County won the tiebreaker over Coffee, thanks to their win over Coffee, and Lee County will be the number 1 seed. Coffee be number 2, and north side of Warner Robins will be the 3 seed, and north side of Warner Robins held off Houston County on a last-second field goal, 17-14. So that means and north side of Warner Robins finished region play at 2-2 overall. 2-2 in the region. North side of Warner Robins finished with 2 wins and 2 losses of Region 1-6A action, as well as at 7-3 overall. And Valdosta also finished the region at 2-2 overall, and the defending 6A state champion Wildcats finished the regular season at 4-6. And Valdosta finished the region play at 2-2 and 4-6 overall. And the defending state 6A state champions, Class 6A state champions, I should add, and finished the regular season at 4-6 overall. And will also be the number 4 seed. So, so how does the playoff? So how does the playoff picture shape? So how does the playoff picture shape up for the Region 1-6A teams? And Lee County Trojans, as the region champions, will play host to Effingham County next week. So Lee County's at home against Effingham County next week, just outside Savannah. And Coffee will face Glen Academy out of Brunswick next Friday. And north side of Warner Robins as the 3 seed in Region 1-6A. And this seed, according to looking at the Georgia High School Football Association's website, and it looks like Lee County and www.ghsa.net. And Lee County will host Richmond Hill in the first round next week. And Effingham County will go to Coffee. And as the number 2 seed in 1-6A, and north side of Warner Robins will be the 3 seed. And we'll head down to Golden Isles Parkway or US Highway 341 down to Brunswick, Georgia, to take on the Brunswick Pirates. So the Eagles, the north side of Warner Robins, will be heading to the coast next week. And Valdosta, the defending state champions in 6A, will also be headed to the coast to take on Glen Academy. The Glen Academy Red Terrors in that game will be played in Brunswick next week. And I'm going to move on to Region 1-5A. And the Warner Robins Demons complete the 2017 regular season undefeated as they blasted the Bainbridge Bearcats. Final score 35-6. And Warner Robins finishing the regular season undefeated at 10-0 overall, and they finish Region 1-5A play also undefeated at 4-0. And Bainbridge will sell for second place. And the Bearcats finished the regular season at 3-1 in Region 1-5A and 7-3 overall. And Bainbridge will be the number 2 seed. And then the other Region 1-5A contest, it was the Harris County Tigers from out of Hamilton, Georgia, sandwiched in between Columbus and LaGrange along I-185. And Harris County outlasted Thomas County Central. Final score 14-10. And if I can take a quick look at the final standings in Region 1-5A, Warner Robins finished the regular season 4-0 in region, 10-0 overall. Bainbridge 3-1 in region, 7-3 overall. Harris County with their win over Thomas County Central. And this week finished the region play at 2-2 and 5-5 overall. So Harris County finishes at 500, both in region play as well as overall. And Thomas County Central will go into the playoffs, finishing the region at 1-3 and at 3 as well as at 3-7 overall. Veterans finished their regular season last week. Veteran season is over, and they finished region play winless at 0-4 and 2-8. So this is how 5A shapes up as far as the Region 1 teams are concerned. And we'll start with the top seeded Warner Robins Demons. And they'll play host to South Effingham in the first round. And Bainbridge will be the number 2 seed. And the Bearcats will play host to New Hampstead. New Hampstead's a fairly new school located just outside of Savannah. And the number 3 seed out of region 1-5A, the Harris County Tigers will be on the road. And the Tigers are going to have a long, very, very long road trip, as they'll go all the way down to Waycross, Georgia, to take on the Ware County Gators. And Ware County gets the number 2 seed out of Region 2-5A. It's going to be a long trip for Harris County. And I'm thinking if I were Harris County, and hope they fill up the tank with enough gas to. I hope they fill up the tank with enough gas to. Hope they fill up all the buses with enough gas to make that long trip to and from Waycross. And it's a long trip. Harris County at Ware County. And finally, the Thomas County Central Yellow Jackets will travel all the way to Jessup, Georgia, to take on the Wayne County Yellow Jackets. So it'll be Thomas County Central at Wayne County, and a battle of the Yellow Jackets, the Thomas County Central Yellow Jackets versus the Wayne County Yellow Jackets. So that takes care of Class 5A. And moving on to 4A. And the Cairo Syrup Makers. Let's see. I'm going to start. How about the American Sumter Panthers? And going into the playoffs, having won 6 in a row. And the newly crowned region champion Panthers of America Sumter. And won their 7th straight game as they outlasted the Carver Tigers from Columbus. Final score, America Sumter 27, Carver of Columbus 16, 27-16. America Sumter wins it, and America Sumter finishes Region 1-4A play, I should say. America Sumter finishes Region 1-4A play undefeated at 6-0, as well as at 8-2 overall. And the Panthers will go into the playoffs riding a 7-game winning streak after starting 1-2. And America Sumter's only losses so far have come to Lee County and to Crisp County. And both of those teams are region champions. And more on the Crisp County Cougars a little bit later. But America Sumter wins 27-16 over Carver of Columbus. And the Cairo Syrup Makers are also going into the playoffs on a roll as they crushed the Columbus Blue Devils. Columbus High School Blue Devils final score 45-7 Cairo. And Cairo has now won 4 in a row. And the Syrup Makers finished the regular season with 6 wins against only 1 loss in region play. And that loss came to America Sumter 31-15 up in Americus, Georgia, back on September 29th. And Cairo hasn't lost since. And Cairo also finishes the regular season at 7-3 overall. And just like America Sumter, and Cairo also goes into the playoffs red hot. And Cairo will be the number 2 seed and the number 3 seed in GHSA Region 1-4A. The North Side Patriots from Columbus and Northside traveled to Hugh Mills. Northside Columbus traveled to Hugh Mills Stadium to face Westover in a battle of the Patriots, and was tied 14 apiece going into the fourth quarter. But Northside scored 2 touchdowns in the final period to win 28-14. And Northside of Columbus finishes the regular season at 5-2 in region play, 8-2 overall, with the win over Westover. And Westover needed a win and a lot of help just to get into the playoffs. And none of that happened. And Westover loses 28-14. And the Patriots finished the regular. Let's see, Carver Columbus, despite falling to 3-4 region play and finishing the regular season at 3-7 overall, will go into the playoffs as the number 4 seed out of GHSA Region 1-4A. And Westover, and seeing Cairo and Carver Columbus, wins the tiebreaker over Westover. Well, and Carver of Columbus won the number 4 seed out of Region 1-4A outright, with Westover and Columbus both losing tonight. And seeing Hardaway also face Shaw. And seeing Hardaway lost, and see Hardaway lost to Carver 38-31 last week. So that means Carver will win the tiebreaker. And seeing Carver won over Hardaway last week. 38-31. And then Carver Columbus, that is. And then they also America Sumter. So that means Hardaway wins. So that means Carver Columbus wins the tiebreaker over Hardaway. So that means Carver of Columbus will be the number 4 playoff seed out of GHSA Region 1-4A. And as for Westover, with that 28-14 loss to Northside of Columbus, the Westover Patriots from Albany finished the 2017 season at 2-5 in Region 1-4A play, 4-6 overall. A very disappointing season for Westover comes to an end on a losing note. So how's the playoff picture looking for the Region 1-4A teams? And America Sumter as the 1 seed out of Region 1-4A will host the Howard Huskies out of Macon, Georgia. The Howard Huskies. So how would you like a team like that? How would you like to have a team that's a good nickname for a team like that? The Howard Huskies out of Macon, Georgia, in the mid-state. And Howard will head down to Americus next week to face America Sumter. And the Cairo Surfmakers will be the number 2 seed out of Region 1-4A and will host the Spalding Jaguars out of Griffin, Georgia. So you got Howard at America Sumter, Spalding at Cairo, and rounding out the playoff pairings among Region 1-4A teams. You got the North Side Patriots from Columbus traveling to just west of Dublin, Georgia, the tiny town of Dexter, to take on West Lawrence. West Lawrence will be the number 2 seed out of Region 2-4A. And last but not least, Carver of Columbus will head east to Forsyth, Georgia, to take on the Mary Persons Bulldogs. And for those people that don't remember or just listening for the first time, and Mary Persons opened the 2017 season in the Corky Kale Kickoff Classic in Macon against Lee County, and Mary Persons gave Lee County all it could handle before losing in the final seconds to Lee County 21-17. It was way back on Thursday, August 17th at Five-Star Stadium on the campus of Mercer University in Macon. In any case, Mary Persons won the 2-4A title and will host Carver Columbus next week. And I'm going to move right along to Class AAA, Region 1 AAA. And the battle for second place down in Adel, Georgia, took place between the Cook Hornets and the Monroe Tornadoes from Albany. And in a tight contest. And saying it was a tight contest. Well, at least it was until the closing seconds. It was Cook outlasting Monroe 36-23. So the Cougars finished the season. So the Cougars finished the regular season unbeaten in Region 1 AAA action. No, not the Cougars. I meant Cook. And got to get my team straight. Anyways, Cook will be the number 2 seed and will finish the regular season at 3-1 in Region 1 AAA play and 5-5 overall. And this was after Cook started the season winless at 0-4. And Cook has won 5 out of their last 6 games. And Cook wins 36-23 over Monroe. And Cook will be the number 2 seed in GHSA out of GHSA Region 1 AAA and will be at home for the first round next week. And as for the Monroe Tornadoes, and they finished the regular season with 2 wins and 2 losses in region play, having lost to the top 2 teams, number 2 seed Cook, as well as number 1 seed Crisp County. And the Tornadoes also finished the regular season at 3-6 overall. And the Tornadoes will be on the road next week against yet to be determined opponent. And Darty will be the number 4 seed, GHSA Region 1 AAA. So looking at the first round pairings involving Region 1 AAA teams in the GHSA high school football playoffs. And the Crisp County Cougars will welcome the Battle Creek Warriors from Tattnall County in southeast Georgia next week. And And Crisp County Cougars, the Region 1 AAA champions, also the number 1 seed out of Region 1 AAA, will play host to Tattnall County next week. That's in the first round. And the Cook Hornets will be at home against Appling County in the first round. So Monroe will be so Tattnall County. So it'll be Tattnall County at Crisp County, in one of the 4 playoff games. So it'll be Tattnall County at Crisp County, and Appling County will head to Adel to face Cook. And that should be, very interesting matchup there in the first round. And Monroe will be the number 3 seed, and the Monroe Tornadoes will be the 3 seed, and will face Pierce County. Monroe will be the number 3 seed out of GHSA Region 1 AAA, and will travel to Blackshear, Georgia, to play against the Pierce County Bears. And Pierce County fell at Liberty County 41-14 to close out the regular season at 3-2 in Region 2 AAA play and 4-5 overall. And so that leaves the Darty Trojans as the number 4 seed out of Region 1 AAA, having to travel all the way to Hinesville, Georgia, or is it I think it's Midway, Georgia, to take on the Liberty County Panthers. Yeah, you got it right the first time. Liberty County High School is in Hinesville, Georgia, and south about 40 miles south of Savannah, and 30-40 miles southwest of Savannah, right near Fort Stewart. In any case, so repeating the pairings in the GHSA playoffs involving the AAA teams, Region 1 AAA teams. Tattnall County is at Crisp County, Region 1 champion. Crisp County, the Region 1 champion. Appling County at number 2 seed Cook, number 3 seed Monroe from Albany, traveling to Blackshear, Georgia, to face Pierce County, and the number 4 seeded Darty Trojans from Albany will also be on the road to face Liberty County. And moving on to Class AA, and the Thomasville Bulldogs and came from behind to beat Brooks County 23-20, and Thomasville trailed 23 to made that 20-0 in that game against Brooks, and but rallied to win 23-20. And tonight, the Bulldogs also fell behind to Fitzgerald, and 1 point in Fitzgerald. Fitzgerald led 28-17, and then the Bulldogs scored 21 unanswered points down the stretch to win 38-28. And Thomasville finishes the regular season undefeated at 4-0, and also finished at 10-0 overall. So Thomasville's the GHSA Region 1 AA champion for 2017 or 2017. And amazing seasons so far for second-year head coach Zach Grage and the Thomasville Bulldogs. And as for the Brooks County Trojans in Quitman, Georgia, nicely from that stunning loss to Thomasville, and bounced back in a big way as he just blasted Berrien 63-6 the final score. So Thomasville will be Thomasville's going to be Thomasville will be the number 1 seed in GHSA Region 1 AA, And Brooks County will be the number 2 seed. And Fitzgerald, with the loss to Thomasville, will be the 3 seed. And Berrien will fall to number 4. And Thomasville will be at home. Thomasville's at home next week against the number 4 seed in Region 2AA. And the Bulldogs will have to wait till either late Monday night or maybe no later than early Tuesday morning, to find out whom they'll face in round 1 next week. So Thomasville will face either Bacon County, Jeff Davis, or Swainsboro in the first round. And Thomasville will play host to either Swainsboro or Jeff Davis or Bacon County. That's Bacon with a B. In the first round of the state playoffs next week. All the other first round matchups and involving GHSA Region 1AA teams have been set. And Brooks County will be home next Friday against Vidalia. And Vidalia finished the regular season at 4-4 overall and 4-2 in Region 2AA. And Vidalia had one of its, and Vidalia was scheduled to play 9 regular season games this year, but their game against Appleton County was canceled. I think apparently due to bad weather. The game was played on August 25th. And in any case, let's see. And Vidalia defeated Bryan County 35-7. And 35-7 Vidalia all over Bryan County. Really not much of a game there. And so Vidalia finished the regular season at 5-2 in Region 2AA play, 5-4 overall. And Vidalia will be the number 3 seed. And as mentioned earlier, Thomasville will play host to either Swainsboro, Jeff Davis, or Bacon County. And those 3 teams will play against each other in a mini game. And Vidalia, I believe, I think that's where they're going to play that mini game on Monday night. So it's saying for those people that don't know what a mini game is, basically just play like 2, 5, 5-minute games to decide which team will make the playoffs. And so the winner of those 2 mini games will advance as the number 4 seed out of GHSA Region 1AA, and will travel to Thomasville and talk about a long trip. So it'll either be Bacon County or Jeff Davis or Swainsboro hitting the road to face Thomasville next week. So that depends on the outcome of the mini game. Depends on the outcome of the mini game on Monday night. And rounding out the brackets in Class AA involving the Region 1 teams. And the Fitzgerald Purple Hurricanes will be the number 3 seed and will travel to Lyons, Georgia, spelled Lyons, Lyons, Georgia. And Fitzgerald will face Toombs County. You got the Fitzgerald Purple Hurricanes against the Toombs County Bulldogs. And finally, Berrien from Nashville, Georgia, will travel all the way to Savannah to take on the Benedictine Cadets, and perennial powerhouse team from the Savannah area. And Berrien's drawing a tough team. Berrien has a tough draw. Doing battle with Benedictine up in Savannah next week. And going to Class Single A Public. And that bracket won't be decided. That's because that bracket won't be decided until Monday. And that's because only the top 24 teams in both the private and public school subdivisions of Class Single A will advance to the playoffs. But as for as for Region 1, and that champion was the championship in that region was decided in Camilla on Friday night, as the Mitchell County Eagles played host to the Pelham Hornets, and Mitchell County jumped out to a quick 14-0 lead, and pretty much cruised from there, forcing 6 turnovers and a 22-0 shutout win over Pelham. Mitchell County 22, Pelham nothing. That was the final score. And Mitchell County wins the GHSA Region 1 Single A Championship. And the Pelham Hornets, who won the Region 1 Single A title last year, will have to settle for second place this year. And the Hornets fall to 8-2 overall, finished Region 1 Single A play at 8-1. And Mitchell County not only wins the region title, and they'll get a first round bye. And then as one of the 8 region champions, and I'm sure Mitchell County will get that I'm sure Mitchell County will get a well-deserved week off. I think the Eagles could use that bye week to try to heal. And let's see in region how about Region 2 Single A? And the regular season winding down there. And it was how about another critical game in Region 1 Single A down in Donaldsonville, Georgia, between Miller County and Seminole County, and Miller County, and it was Miller County getting the win over Seminole County. Final score 24-19. Miller County wins over Seminole County, and the game was actually played in Colquitt, Georgia, not Donaldsonville, Georgia. And either way, and Miller County wins 24-19 in a very close game. And with the win, the Miller County Pirates finished GHSA Region 1 Single A play at 6-3, as well as at 7-3 overall. And Seminole County finishes, and Seminole County finishes Region 1 Single A action at 5-4, as well as at 5-5 overall. And Miller County was ranked. I think Miller County was at number 21 in the most recent power rankings for the Class Single A public school subdivision, or subclassification, if you will. And Miller County will go to the playoffs for sure. And as for Seminole County, and it looks like Seminole County came in at number 26. And it looks like Seminole will be on the outside looking in, sadly. And wrapping things up in And let's see, wrap things up in the GI. Let's see, we're going to wrap things up with the GISA playoffs. We're wrapping things up with the GISA playoffs. And unfortunately for the Deerfield Windsor Knights here in Albany, and their season has come to a heartbreaking end as Gatewood cruised to a 31-7 win up in Eatonton, Georgia on Friday night, and the night season comes to an end at 7-5 overall. And a tough ending to the season for Deerfield Windsor. And then one team that and meanwhile Southfield Academy was shut out up in Sharpsburg, Georgia, in eastern Coweta County by Trinity Christian of Sharpsburg, 33-0 the final score. And Southfield Academy finishes the regular season at 10-2 overall. And Southfield Academy managed to go on the road to Dublin, Georgia, and outlast Trinity Christian 35-24, but the Golden Raiders weren't as golden against the other Trinity Christian Sharpsburg, and Trinity Christian trounces Southland 33-0. The final score up in Sharpsburg, Georgia. And Trinity Christian of Sharpsburg goes to 10-2 overall, and Southland finishes their season at 10-2 overall. And Trinity Christian of Sharpsburg, believe it or not, started the season at 0-2 overall, which included a season opening loss 26-16 to Deerfield Windsor at home back on August 11th, and then a week later, they lost in overtime to Bullock Academy, whom Deerfield eliminated in the first round last week, 35-28. And Trinity Christian of Sharpsburg, very sharp against Southland, winning 33-0. And the Lions going to move on, and the Golden Raiders from Southland Academy out of Americus, and their season will come to an end. And on the other hand, Valwood's season will continue. The GISA Region 3 AAA champion Valiants Valwood, and just absolutely rolled all over John Millage. And John Millage moves on. And John Millage moves on with the victory. So it was 30, I think it was like 32-7, something like that. 28-7. And so can't quite remember the final score, but Valwood does move on to the semifinal round in GISA Class AAA. There we go. Here we go. In the final score, Valwood all over John Millage, 42-7, and Valwood advances to the semifinal round of the GISA Class AAA state playoffs. And while Valwood moves on, both Deerfield Windsor of Albany and Southland of Americus, and the season for both of those teams has come to an end. And how about in the GIS? Let's see. How about GISA Class AA? And the Terrell Academy Eagles out of Dawson, Georgia, some not too far from Albany, 20+ miles northwest of Albany along US Highway 82 or the 520. And the Terrell Academy Eagles season came to an end with a 63-35 loss to Terrell Academy. Terrell Academy season came to an end with a 63-35 loss to Briarwood, and that was a road loss for Terrell Academy, 63-35. Briarwood blast Terrell Academy. So the season's over for Terrell Academy. In round 2 of the GISA Class AA playoffs. And how about getting in a couple more scores before wrapping things up for tonight? And it's some regular season action. And back to the GHSA. In the Calhoun County Cougars season ended on a winning note. And the Cougars out of Edison, Georgia, defeated Baconton Community Charter School. The Blazers fall 33-28. No, not 33-28. I meant 30 fouls in Calhoun County wins over Baconton Charter or Baconton Community Charter School, 38-22. So Calhoun County's season ends on a winning note. And also in GHSA Region 1 Single A action, it was Randolph Clay's season ending with a win over Randolph Clay's season ending with a win 50-22 over the Terrell County Green Waves. That game was played in Cuthbert, Georgia. So, and that's let's see, and maybe getting in, maybe and maybe get in. So I'm thinking maybe you can get in some other scores here if we can. Let's see, and I think let's see in SGA. Let's see SGA. So the Southwest Georgia Academy Warriors. And the Southwest Georgia Academy Warriors round of the GISA Class AA playoffs, the state playoffs there. And Southwest Georgia played host to Brentwood out of Sandersville, Georgia. And unfortunately for SGA, the Warriors season came to an end with a 14-6 loss to Brentwood. And so both of the playoff representatives from GISA Region 3 AA and seasons for both the GISA Region 3 AA representatives came to a sad, heartbreaking end. And both seasons, both of their seasons for both of those teams ended with losses to teams that started with the letters B and R and ended in the suffix wood in Southwest Georgia Academy or SGA losing a heartbreaker at home to Brentwood 14-6. And while Terrell Academy fell to Briarwood 63-35. So on that note, that's going to wrap up this edition of the Midnight Blitz Scoreboard show for Saturday, November 4th, 2017 or 2017. Hard to believe getting near the top of the hour. Almost at the top of the hour. And remember, you can follow the Southwest Georgia Network on Twitter at SWGA Network, and also listen live on YouTube, just as you are now. And I'm going to try to do a bracketology show on the next high school football roundup podcast, also available on the Southwest Georgia Network on both the Twitter and YouTube channels. I'm Walter Johnson. Have a good morning and good weekend.